We just witnessed something extraordinary. Barack Obama took the stage in Erie, Pennsylvania, and he didn't hold back. He directly addressed Donald Trump's response to the killing of Charlie Kirk, and his words cut right to the heart of what's at stake for this country.
And so when I hear not just our current president, but his aides, who have a history of calling political opponents vermin, enemies, who need to be targeted, that speaks to a broader problem that we have right now. And something that we're going to have to grapple with, all of us, whether we're Democrats, Republicans, independents.
Notice what Obama is doing here. He's laying out a very clear contrast. While Trump and his allies are doubling down on inflammatory blame games, Obama is reminding us that leadership should mean calming tensions, not pouring gasoline on the fire. When he said we're at an inflection point, that wasn't just a throwaway line. He meant it. Because when political leaders normalize violent rhetoric, when they treat fellow Americans as enemies rather than citizens, that's when democracy itself becomes fragile.
We have to recognize that on both sides, undoubtedly there are people who are extremists and who say things that are contrary to what I believe are America's core values. But I will say that those extreme views were not in my White House. I wasn't embracing them. I wasn't empowering them. I wasn't putting the weight of the United States government behind extremist views. And that is when we have the weight of the United States government behind extremist views, we've got a problem. And so your original question is, are we at an inflection point? We're at an inflection point in the sense that we always have to fight for our democracy. And we have to fight for those values that have made this country the envy of the world. And I often say democracy is not self-executing. It depends on us as citizens, regardless of our political affiliations, to stand up for certain core values, because otherwise we may not have them.
And here's the key. Obama points out that extremism was never embraced from his Oval Office. Was there division? Of course. But he didn't use the full weight of the U.S. government to amplify it. Contrast that with Trump, who literally built a political brand around vilifying opponents. Whether it was calling Democrats vermin or pushing the racist lie that Obama wasn't even born in America.
Obviously, I didn't know Charlie Kirk. I was generally aware of some of his ideas. I think those ideas were wrong. But that doesn't negate the fact that what happened was a tragedy and that I mourn for him and his family. He's a young man with 2 small children and a wife who obviously, and a huge number of friends and supporters who cared about him. And so we have to extend grace to people during their period of mourning and shock. We can also, at the same time, say that I disagree with the idea that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a mistake. That's not me politicizing the issue. It's making an observation.
After the Charleston church massacre in 2015, when 9 black parishioners were murdered by a white supremacist, Obama could have easily turned it into a partisan attack. He didn't. Instead, he focused on unity, on healing, on reminding Americans of our shared values. Now compare that to Trump's response to Kirk's killing. Instead of urging calm, he immediately framed it as proof of the radical left. No compassion, no grace, just another opportunity to deepen the divide.
For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today.
This took place in a black church, obviously also raises questions about a dark part of our history. This is not the first time that black churches have been attacked. And we know that hatred across races and faiths pose a particular threat to our democracy and our ideals. The good news is I am confident that the outpouring of unity and strength and fellowship and love across Charleston today, from all races, from all faiths, from all places of worship, indicates the degree to which those old vestiges of hatred can be overcome.
That's the difference right there. Obama sees unity as essential. Trump literally says he couldn't care less. And that mindset trickles down. When a president dismisses the idea of common ground, it normalizes contempt, and it makes actual violence more likely.
I can disagree with some of the broader suggestions of that liberals and Democrats are promoting a conspiracy to displace whites and replace them by ushering in illegal immigrants. Those are all topics that we have to be able to discuss honestly and forthrightly, while we still insist that in that process of debate, we respect other people's right to say things that we profoundly disagree with.
And we're going to look into that.
What do we do about our country with that? Because we have radicals on the right as well. We have radicals on the left. People are watching all of these videos and cheering. Some people are cheering that Charlie was killed. How do we fix this country? How do we come back together?
I'll tell you something that's going to get me in trouble, but I couldn't care less. The radicals on the right oftentimes are radical because they don't want to see crime.
Trump calls the press the enemy of the people. He tells reporters they have hate in their hearts. He even threatens foreign journalists by saying their questions hurt international relations. That's not strength. That's authoritarian behavior wrapped in grievance politics. And meanwhile, Obama? He's talking about democracy not being self-executing, about the responsibility we all share to defend core values regardless of party. The contrast couldn't be clearer.